that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine for a winner's mentoring session. Here on Greenlight Maine, we are helping to grow Maine's economy one dream at a time. I'm Don Gooding with MCED, and I'll be moderating this discussion between an entrepreneur and mentors, as I often do in my day job. With us in the studio is Stan Farrell of Composimold, as well as three mentors who are going to help Composimold address a tough business issue that could be a barrier to growth. And I'll introduce the mentors in just a couple of minutes. But first, Stan, congratulations on advancing in the competition here on Greenlight Maine.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, now a lot of things keep changing with a business such as yours. I see you've got a new product here.
Yes, based upon the conversations we had at the last Greenlight Maine, we put out a product to experiment with a potential new name change.
Well, that's great. Actually, you know, we're going to see just a little bit about that. We're going to go to your winning pitch, and when we come back, just a little reflection on what you think about it 6 months later. Let's go to the pitch. Take it away.
We are makers.
And we are not alone. 56% of households in America do at least one craft project every single month. This includes the 10 million candle makers, soap makers, and jewelry makers.
The 10 million sugar artists making amazing cakes and custom chocolates. And the 10 million hobbyists who are doing train parts, fishing lures, and robots. And Composimold is the tool that makes it easy for these creative people to make their ideas into something real.
So the idea of Composimold, which is our cornerstone product, began because of my frustration at not being able to make model airplane parts and model rocket parts into lightweight plastics. I wanted to make something real. What I had for options for mold making and casting was latex or silicone, but those are toxic, hard to use, and if you make any mistake, you're out of luck because you have to start again at the very beginning. So after many years of development, we came up with Composimold, which is a 100% reusable mold making material.
With Composimold, you can take your 3D printed parts and duplicate them, your art sculptures, and copy those, and you can also clone your action figures. Composimold is eco-friendly and safe. It can be melted in the microwave, and it can be reused over and over again with no worries and no fuss.
And thanks to a video by super awesome Sylvia that was very popular, we found that my frustrations at making molds and castings there was many other people who had the same frustrations. There is a huge market for easy ways to make molds and castings.
And Composimold is easy to use, and it's also the most affordable mold making material in the world.
So Composimold is just the beginning. We have over a dozen different products, including casting materials, other mold making materials, kits, and accessories. Our sales have doubled every year for the last 5 years, and that trend is continuing through increased awareness, product development, and partnerships. We have sold to over 30,000 customers, and we have made over 70,000 pounds of Composimold right here in central Maine.
We are located in well over 200 stores throughout the world, and that's only so far. And we're constantly making new materials, such as certain casting materials like Composistone, low melt soy wax, clear casting plastic, and our newest favorite remold putty, which is a reusable mold making material that makes it even easier for people to make products that are real.
With your help, we will continue to expand into new markets such as the concrete industry, the education market, and the hardware market.
Composimold has demonstrated its success, and we are ready to meet the needs of even more customers by creating and selling safe, user-friendly, and affordable materials for the makers in all of us.
Well, that was an awesome pitch. It was amazing that you've been doubling growth every year. Did you have a similar year in 2015?
This year, we sold almost double the amount of material as last year. What happened is we've converted over to more reselling, so it's not less of the direct sale. So actually, our profits are about the same as they were.
Okay, well, great. So now I want to introduce the mentors. but with a twist. Because we know that great ideas can come from anyone, right? It's not about the credentials, it's about the creativity. So I'm just going to tell you their first names, which, since guys are kind of name challenged, is probably a good thing, right? So you're not going to know whether or not they're like a media expert or just a really brilliant local shop owner until the end of the show, all right? So first we have Sean. Thanks for being here, Sean.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you ready to ask some good questions?
I'm ready.
Okay, and in the middle we have Roosevelt.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting with Sean and Roosevelt and Tom. Thanks for being here as well.
I appreciate the opportunity.
You ready to help Stan grow his business?
I've been reading up on you. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay, well, there we have it then. We have a winning entrepreneur. We have 3 people who are ready to help, and we'll be back after a short break to talk about a real business growth challenge here on Greenlight Maine.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
At Don Faucher's Discount Tire, it's about being local.
You'd expect that from a family business here in Maine.
Treat every customer with the utmost respect.
Be friendly and courteous.
Service you can recommend to others.
With discount prices and added value. Cooper tires, alignments, brakes, shocks, exhaust, we've got it all.
That's been the Faucher approach for over 30 years.
What you would expect from your local store.
See why you'll be happy here.
Don Faucher's Discount Tire and Alignment. There's a location near you.
It doesn't take much to change your entire travel experience. It's more than a flight, it's the whole trip. Connect to your world with daily non-stop flights to Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charlotte, and New York City. Portland International Jetport. Way better.
Please join us to find vital information on our website at greenlightmaine.com and be a part of our vibrant community on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Together, we're building Maine's future, one dream at a time.
We're back at Greenlight Maine with a winning entrepreneur and 3 anonymous mentors, and we're all ready to dig into a tough business issue. So it was great to hear that you've been doubling your sales, but there's always challenges. So what would you like to talk about today?
Yeah. At the last, when we had the Greenlight Maine last time, one of the questions that Elliot Cutler and Sarah Burns from CMP brought up was the name. And one of the question I have is, how can a name change help tell our story of reusable mold making material?
Interesting question. All sorts of marketing and all sorts of interesting questions related to that. So Sean, you want to ask some clarifying questions first?
Sure. I think something that is definitely important to consider is, do you think there's a lot of valuable equity in the name Composimold now in terms of customers who have already experienced? You've sold a lot of units, you've made a lot of sales?
Yes, the answer is that, but it's such a small part of the iceberg that we're debating whether or not we'd be hitting more of the larger market by having something that hits outside of the mold making type crowd. So yeah.
Roosevelt?
Quickly, Stan, you reference moving toward the education field with your product. And as an advocate of education, I wanted to know what your thoughts were as how this product could, 1, benefit being in schools, and for 2, do you think this name is something that adheres to children or attracts children?
Name doesn't attract children.
So that's where you want.
That's one of the frustrations is the name Composimold is from me as an engineer. who is a composites engineer.
Exactly.
So it's great if you're an engineer,
Yeah.
and it's excellent for, say, industrial type applications. But for the education market, for sciences, arts, and a lot of industrial sciences are using it as a way of showing the process of duplicating mold making, which this product, that's how it fit into the market. And a lot of the maker movement, where they're showing how to actually make something real, where this fits into it.
Okay. Yeah. Tom, questions?
Well, as a corporate name, Composimold is fine, but in retail, I was totally lost. So, as speaking for the people who have no craftability,
That's right.
have you reached out to your customers as, gathering 100 of them and sitting them down and doing a focus group about, what attracted them initially to the product, what they would call it, and how they would use it? Have you?
We've started to do more of the in-store demonstrations, and during those we actually have conversations with them, saying, "What do you think of the name? How do you see it?" Not quite those specific questions, but those are very good questions that we need to ask. And some of it's sort of this nebulous feedback that we sort of have to. They understand it as Composimold because that's why that's what they heard it as the first time. So it's this what they understand it as versus what. So to them, it's that's not a big deal. But then there's another crowd that says,
right,
well, what is it? What is mold making? Why do I want to make a mold? Yeah,
right. So since the last show, what has been that process you've gone through to say, okay, what are our options?
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of internal focus groups and a lot of conversations with individual people about what, if we were to change the name, what would it be to? And then started to look at how we would actually make that change. It's more than just adding another website up there to say we are now Make It Chocolate. There's a lot more to that. So we've done a lot of conversion names. As we took Sarah Burns' concept idea with the Make It, and we said, well, let's try this in 10 to 15 chocolate cake decorating stores. And the response has been good. Whether or not it's better or worse than Composimold is still a question. And the numbers aren't specifically one over the other at some point.
Sean, any more questions?
I think it's interesting to think about whether it makes sense to actually change the name Composimold or just think about a series of sort of sub-brands. And I wonder if you've thought about, even treating the, something like Make It Chocolate as, what if there's a sort of little mini sub-brand for each market within the Composimold line?
Yeah, that's a very good, yes. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'd agree with him. It's all about who you want to market to and differentiating the styles and how you want to spread the word. Because if I think cake and I think Composimold, they don't go hand in hand.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's like Procter & Gamble, nobody cares about their name, right? It's all the different products.
All different products about it, yes. Yes, that's one of the things that we've been debating. One of the things we've been working on, the Make It Chocolate, is getting to those. So we still have Composimold, but then they go to the Easy Make It Chocolate website, which is a sub part of Composimold. They become one things in terms of resellers. There becomes the confusion. So what should I use? Should I use Composimold Flex? Should I use Composimold Original? So you end up, similar thing that happened with Procter & Gamble is you end up having so many different products that all do similar things. So how do you break those up? And then
okay. Well, you know what?
Okay.
I think.
Come back.
Yeah. So actually, I think it's time to let our anonymous mentors weigh in because there's so many issues. So I think, could you just give maybe 20, 30 seconds on what you think the next steps ought to be for Stan?
I think it would definitely be worth pursuing the sort of creating kind of a brand architecture per se. And I think the lightest touch you could do is treat that Composimold as the top line, and that Make It Chocolate or Mold Maker Pro or a series of names sort of become a product of Composimold. And I think seeing a lot of those products in one place could actually do a lot to tell your brand story to an uninitiated consumer.
Interesting. Roosevelt.
I guess where I am, I'm still trying to figure out why Composimold in the first place. I guess we haven't touched on that.
Right.
But also, I agree with what he said with stratifying an audience or speaking to a specific audience and getting feedback from them. And you can, do simple things like using SurveyMonkey, send it out to, 10 consumers here, 10 consumers there, 10 consumers elsewhere, and, putting together a final plan.
Great. Tom?
Again, I have no problem with Composimold as a corporate name, behind the scenes, small print. But I'm really becoming very concerned about all this diversity in the different names, Make It Chocolate and this and that. You've got to do your research, and you've got to get some data on how your customers are perceiving this. And it's got to be simplified, because right now it's all over the map.
Okay. Well, we've heard from our anonymous mentors. What are your thoughts out there in the audience about how to address the challenge? Feel free to post those thoughts on Twitter at #GreenlightMaine or on our Facebook page. We'll be back after a break with our entrepreneurs' reaction to these ideas here on Greenlight Maine.
We help businesses increase sales. We help increase sales by providing business owners, chief executives, and marketing managers with effective advertising strategies and marketing campaigns. We help businesses increase sales by providing practical advice and tactical plans that are meaningful and measurable. We can help your business increase sales. Find out how at SutherlandWeston.com.
Hi, Ross here for DYSART'S Restaurant. Everyone's having meetings, meeting about this, meetings about that, meeting about meetings. How ridiculous is that? Got a meeting? Meet at DYSART'S Broadway. Look at my chart. DYSART'S Broadway's got 3 meeting rooms. A big one, a bigger one, and an even bigger one. And the big one and the bigger one can combine to be even bigger than the even bigger one. How ridiculous is that?
Great food, great service, and a great place for your meeting. DYSART'S Broadway.
Big and bigger's bigger than even bigger.
DYSART'S.com.
Ridiculous.
I'm not thinking about health insurance all the time, but when I do, I know that Community Health Options is there for us. Whether we're getting a checkup, a test at the lab, or we're in the hospital, Community Health Options is there every step of the way. They'll help you get the most of your prescription benefits and manage any ongoing conditions, so you can think about other things.
Member-centered Community Health Options. Sign up or re-enroll for 2016 at healthoptions.org.
If any of you in our television audience has a big idea, we encourage you to visit greenlightmaine.com for a list of resources and information about starting your own business.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We've heard about our Entrepreneurs Challenge. We've heard some great ideas from our panel of anonymous mentors. So, Stan, which of all of these ideas would you like to talk some more about?
Yes, please.
All of the above, huh?
Yep. One of the things that Roosevelt brought up was the why Composimold, and then it fits into Tom's question in terms of how does that fit into the whole architecture of things. So we're sort of combining those together in terms of why the Composimold company is to help people duplicate or make or fix whatever they need to fix. So they use the mold making process to do that fixing. So if you wanted to duplicate a shape into a part into another part, you can make it into the same material, or you can make it into another material like a plastics or soaps or concretes, etc.
Kind of like cloning.
Exactly like cloning. Yeah, exactly like cloning. Yes. Yeah. And the advantage or the problem that we're solving is what they have for solutions out there for the mold making process now is very expensive. They're sometimes difficult to use. They're wasteful. And
so those are a bunch of brand promises that you're making.
Exactly.
As you listen to all of these brand promises, anything jump out at you as something that maybe he ought to be focusing on?
When I think about this product, I mean, I've used things like silicone and latex in the past to try to make molds on my own, and they're a pain in the butt to work with, and this seems so easy to use, and I feel like it's
easy.
A huge opportunity to introduce it to people like kids.
Easy clone.
I think it's a great thing that you guys provide videos and tutorials through your website for each mold that you guys make. So that was beneficial to me when I was doing some research on your program or your company.
I have no experience in using this kind of product, but I neglected to say before, I'm fascinated by it. And as someone who's never tried this, I'd say, you know, I might try that. I might be able to actually make something. That would be pretty cool. But you're getting into the retail world now.
Right.
And brand packaging is a very difficult science in it of itself. And there's a lot of things I think that you really need to be working on for that.
Yeah, there are a lot of professional firms who do this. I mean, all they do is figure all of this stuff out. Have you done any of that yet?
We have, in terms of talking to professionals, we've put out, actually since the last Greenlight Maine, we put out quite a few things to different marketing firms to look at how to market it. And some, typically, the people who do SEO want to focus on the SEO.
Yeah.
The people who want to focus on public relations want to focus on public relations.
Yeah.
And all of those things are important.
Guess what? That's a great lead-in to the reveal of who we have over here.
Excellent.
So, Sean.
My name is Sean Wilkinson. I run a small branding and design firm. We're based in Portland. We work with a lot of Maine creative and consumer goods.
And the name of your firm is?
Might and Maine.
Might and Maine. Okay.
Should have said that.
No, absolutely. It's all about branding names.
Thank you, Sean.
Roosevelt.
I'm Roosevelt Boone. I'm the co-founder and program director for Strong Mind, Strong Body Incorporated. We exist to induce positive youth development through our wellness and nutrition summer programs. We've worked here in Maine, Washington, D.C., where I'm originally from, and as well as Ghana, West Africa. More can be learned about our organization at www.strongmindstrongbodyinc.org.
Now, there's someone who knows how to promote, right? That's awesome. Okay, Tom?
I'm Tom Talbot. I'm the president of Talbot Marketing. I'm an individual, one single proprietor. I've been doing this for 30 years, full service. So it's really the range from current digital marketing to traditional marketing. And
yeah,
hope I've been helpful.
As usual, we've got a lot of different resources that we're trying to connect you with to help you with this tough business issue. So I think we'll be able to keep these connections going long after the show is done.
Absolutely.
So now that we know the identities of our three mentors, it's time for a short break, and we'll be back with some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine.
As a leader in Maine and New England in providing integrated accounting, consulting, and tax services to clients large and small, the team at MACPAGE has proven to provide innovative solutions to help us better meet our clients' needs. We enjoy the people we serve and care about the work we do. The success of our business is based upon our ability to develop quality relationships, one client at a time. MACPAGE. Accessible, approachable, accountable.
At Don Faucher's Discount Tire, it's about being local.
You'd expect that from a family business here in Maine.
Treat every customer with the utmost respect.
Be friendly and courteous.
Service you can recommend to others.
With discount prices and added value. Cooper tires, alignments, brakes, shocks, exhaust, we've got it all.
That's been the Faucher approach for over 30 years.
What you would expect from your local store.
See why you'll be happy here.
Don Faucher's Discount Tire and Alignment. There's a location near you.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
We're
back for some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine, and I want to start by thanking the 3 mentors who have come on the show, because mentoring is such an important part of helping companies, as you know from being in Top Gun back in 2012, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So, mentors, I'd like to finish up with maybe 20 seconds on what you think Stan ought to be going out to do. So, Sean?
Sure. I think you have a really exciting opportunity here, and you're in a great position because the product itself is great, and you already have a lot of support out in the field. You have sort of an easy problem to solve, which is how do you package it, make it beautiful and enticing and engaging. I think it's a really good time to bring a third party in and a good place to invest some time and money.
Okay. Roosevelt?
I think from what we've discussed and what I've inferred from our conversation here, the best piece of advice that I could offer is to target one audience and hammer that audience and then look to move elsewhere. Because it seems like we're kind of all over the place. We're trying to come up with a name that adheres to children, but we're not only serving children. So target one audience and then go after it, and then before you look to move, branch out.
Focus.
Yeah.
Tom?
A comment was made in your first show by one of the judges that you have a very wide audience, diverse audience, and you know who they are. And so I'm encouraging you to really tap into them, to help you through some of these processes of a realignment of your name. Brand packaging is so important. People have to understand what it is when they see it in that 1 second in the store.
Absolutely. So, Stan, you've heard a lot of different things. Any major takeaway coming out of all this?
I really appreciate the feedback, and I really appreciate the opportunity to meet some incredible mentors. This has been a learning experience, and like the last Greenlight Maine, we'll come out with different. We'll have lots of action items from
Lots of action items, exactly.
Yes.
Well, on behalf of the whole Greenlight Maine community, I want to wish you and your company well, and of course, best of luck in that next round of competition. Speaking of which, watch our Facebook page and greenlightmaine.com for announcements about the rest of the competition. We'll have a live event to narrow down our 13 competitors to 2, followed by the final 2 weeks of our online competition where you can help pick a wild card. And finally, a televised championship event where one of those 3 companies will walk away with $100,000. We'll also let you know when we start accepting video pitches for next year's competition. And remember, if you want to start your own business, greenlightmaine.com has lots of resources for you. Keep thinking big and keep the positive feedback coming, especially for the companies you see on the show, because together, the Greenlight Maine community is helping to grow Maine's economy, one dream at a time.
Greenlight Maine has been brought to you by Don Faucher's Discount Tire and Alignment. There's a location near you. Greenlight Maine would not be possible without the support of all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you. Prize money for Greenlight Maine provided by Maine Accelerates Growth through a grant by the Maine Community Foundation. Outreach and community engagement in partnership with Maine Startup and Create Week. Furniture for Greenlight Maine provided by Thomas Mosier. Handmade carpets for Greenlight Maine provided by Mougalian RUGS. Broadcast facilities provided by the New England School of Communications at Husson University.
Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.
Greenlight Maine has been a paid-for presentation by the Portland Media Group.